Hi everyone, this is Marguerite sharing a junk journal project that I am in the middle of. Sometimes I make junk journals that are very fancy, like this one. I spend a lot of time with the covers, making everything by hand. When I put in the signatures, I do the spine stitching with a cross stitch. I choose everything very carefully, pieces of lace and special papers that are kind of, one of a kind or vintage, things like that. I cut things down with a, straight edge. So just very particular about how I do it, and it takes me a while to put these together. And then there are other times when I want to just quickly assemble something from leftover scraps from projects or extra magazine pages that I've kept because I like the illustrations, or just bits and pieces that I have that I've saved. So that's what this is. So this is a trashy junk journal, and it's also called a journal for no reason. Shannon Green kind of coined that term. This is not something that I'm going to be gifting to somebody. It doesn't have any particular theme. It's just a collection of random bits and pieces that I have around my art area that I have assembled and put into a journal. So I did this. I put in these signatures. This has got 4 signatures. I stuck in pages using a long arm stapler. Super easy, super fast, no stitching involved, and it really holds in the pages very nicely. This is the best way to go for me for putting a project together where I can start, focusing on the main focus, which is doing things to the inside. So I'm not going to go through every single page, but what the point is that you take things that you don't have a use for, since you've already finished off another project or whatever, and you collect them, staple it in, make your signatures, and then you can go back through as many times as you want and add on to them. So what I mean by that is, for example, let's just start with the first page here. Here I use this Ghirardelli chocolate covered packaging material as the first page in my signature. I don't think that I want to be looking at this chocolate all the time. So I have a bunch of things that I have punched out of old catalogs. What I do sometimes if I get catalogs in the mail is I get a circle punch, or I get this flower punch, and I go through and stamp things out of my catalogs before I throw them in the recycle bin. And you can find some, some really nice little images that you can do things with. You can, put a whole bunch and make a collage, or you can just use a single one and, do something with it. So I always have a bunch of these on hand for, doing little collages and things. So if I look and see, hey, I want to cover this up, what's going to work here. Look for a couple of things. I think this was a rug. This was a wall piece, so that's very nice. That works very well with the green. I might use that. Set that aside. That doesn't really stand out too much. So I think I like this one, or I like this. This is also very pretty. And then you take your this is just a bunch of things that I have left over. I always keep my little bits and pieces in envelopes that I'm using for a particular project, and then when the project is over, I have the envelope with the leftovers. So that's what that is. So I have a whole bunch of these. Oh, does this work here? That even might work here. But I think I want to add this and maybe this, something like that. So I'm gonna tape that in there, and I'm not gonna use glue because this is a very shiny material and glue is not gonna stick to that. So I have my double-sided tape here. And with these projects, you don't need to be fussy at all. You just tear instead of use your scissors, or use your scissors, but you don't have to measure exactly, that it's exactly even. That's the great thing about this kind of project, is you just do it to get it done, and you don't put a lot of pressure on yourself to make it look stunningly beautiful. So there's that. No, it wasn't that one. It's this one. So I think I'm just going to put that in there. This I can use glue stick because this is paper that's going to easily attach one thing to something else. Put a little more. There, that's good. Okay, so you keep on going through your pages and doing this. Here's something else. Here, I really like this. This looks great. I found this in a magazine, in a travel magazine. I put a piece of washi tape on the bottom and a piece of lace trim on the top, and I think it looks great. Just like that. Don't need to do anything else. And this little piece actually even goes well with this other advertisement over here. But this I don't care for, this on the back. So I found something else that I can stick here, which I will do. And this just came out of a book that my dog tore up, chewed up, and left on the carpet for me to find the next day. And I liked the illustrations inside, so I just went through and saved what I could. Okay, so I'm gluing that down, and again, you'll notice that this is kind of not very attractive around the outside, and that's okay. Don't fuss, or I am not going to fuss about that. And the reason why I'm not going to is because I can go back with washi tape, or I can go back with paint again after I'm all done adding all my stuff, and just add things onto it until I make it the way I want to. And I did do that in another journal, kind of an art journal, and I'll put the link for this one. I did the same thing using junk mail, assembled it, and then kind of collaged with all kinds of pieces from magazines. And then I went back and I added paint around the outside, and I also did a little rubber stamping, or I added washi tape here, for example, and also paint as well in addition. So you really can do quite a lot to things, you know, once you get your first layer down. This is just a piece of a receipt and that's some kind of form, I don't know what that is, and then I stamped over it and did a little bit of acrylic paint around the outsides. So you can do as much or as little as you want in these kinds of trashy journals, which is really nice. The great thing about them is that you can take them places. I take mine, I take it in the car if I have to wait for one of my kids to get out of some practice, and I have a few, 10 minutes or half an hour to use up. I can go through, just a stash of stuff and flip through it and see what I can add. Here's rubber stamp and just another illustration from that same book that my dog destroyed. doily, old postcard. This is again from a catalog. Jewelry, very, very pretty, that I liked. And when I was putting the signatures together, I kind of could see where the colors went together. It's too far down, too far down. Here's something from a paper pad, a leftover piece of an art project, and then on the back I glued on, something from a magazine. This is leftover art project, glued, painted. This is totally, completely a scrap, just a scrap of paper that I just put in there. I like because it has a really nice texture. Postcard, more layers of paint and illustration from a book. So you see, you can just add whatever you want. Here's a pocket in the middle. This is where the staples are, and I didn't want to show those, so I taped these two pages together. Sticker. So this is going to take me months or even years, a year or so, to finish. And that's totally fine with me. Some people really have a thing with wanting to start something, finish something, and put it away. I don't. I like to play with things long term because it gives me the opportunity to do like an art project or to paint something and to come back and to look at it and to see it and say, what else could I add to that? If you come up with a new idea, I like to do that. So it's okay that this is an open-ended project for me. So anyway, it's quite big and heavy, which is great. I love that it's so hefty. And as I add things, I will make another video and show you what I have done, what I've been doing. That way you can kind of see the process of how it comes together and what you can do so that you can use up some of the scraps and some of the things that you have left over or set aside from finding, your own treasures at home. So until the next time, happy crafting.